So I don't know if any of you are like me, but when I was a teenager, I used to daydream all the time, and I came from quite a strict family, lots of rules, and you weren't allowed to swear or anything like that. Like, it was pretty strict. So I really used to fantasize a lot about boys and being a rebel and just having so much fun and excitement. What you think about is what you get. It came to me in like this vision of me driving down the highway listening to some like pop music, just envisioning like relationships and excitement and parties and everything like that when I was a teenager. And I look back on when in that time period of my life, and it was turbulent, it was fun, it was exciting, there were lots of relationships, there were lots of ups and downs like teenagers have. But I can actually see now that what they're talking about with imagination and daydreaming and stuff actually really does work. The more that you think about a certain subject, the more that you're actually going to see that play out in your experience. I have looked at my life lately and I can see that I haven't been doing a lot of forward imagination, like forward daydreaming. I was putting it down to my age, being like, oh, I'm getting to that age where I'm just not as exciting anymore. But I realize now that it's just because I haven't been putting as much thought into it as I used to, as much daydreaming time, as much just basking in possible scenarios. I remember when I was younger, I didn't actually like in my mind when I was using these like daydreaming time in my car, I didn't actually do it with the intention to create something like those relationships or the partying or the excitement or whatever. I did it because it was pleasurable. I did it because it gave me joy in that moment. I didn't actually know about all these laws of the universe and about what you think about is what you get back. I didn't know any of that. I was just thinking about it because it made me feel good. A lot of teenagers do that. You see them getting around with headphones and stuff, and they're doing that. They're daydreaming, they're fantasizing, they're thinking. And if they're not doing that, then they're in a state of peace, or they're anxious, which is another type of daydreaming. It's just day nightmaring basically, and it's about conjuring up scenarios in your head that could go wrong. So they're both very similar actions or behaviors, but they give very different results, but it's through the same means. And that goes to show that the more that you worry or the more that you expect good things to happen to you, the more those things will actually happen. And if you can start to make a habit out of using any moment that you can to fantasize, to daydream, to think about something that's pleasurable, and these don't even have to be daydreams that are even in this reality. You can dream about dragons and fairies and all kinds of things that making you feel alive, make you feel how you want to feel in the future, like make you excited and in love and joyful or anticipating, all those positive emotions that you get. And if you can manage to get yourself a good goosebump or a thrill bump, as some people call them, where you get so excited about a thought that your body just tingles, that is awesome sign that you are doing it in a way that's like really, really powerful. Because when your body starts to react to an emotion that you're having in a positive way, that means that you've got like a strong signal of that emotion. And it's the same with anxiety and all that. When you feel physical symptoms, that means that you've activated a thought for long enough for your body to think that it's literally happening in this moment. Joe Dispenza talks about this. He's a neuroscientist that talks about spiritual principles, but gives a bit of a scientific backing behind it. He talks about how the body does not know the difference between whether it's happening in this moment or in a future moment or in the past moment. It doesn't know. Your body thinks that it's all happening right here and right now, and your body is actually sort of like a beacon for circumstances to come to you, for events and people and cars and money and all these things to come to you. You are a beacon for something positive or something negative to come to you, essentially. Like you know those like little like sonar things where you like hear like ding 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 in the water. Like that's, think of yourself like one of those sonars. What are you broadcasting? What are you putting out into the universe? What are you signaling? What are you vibrating? What are you misting? What are you putting out there? If you can imagine it as like a physical thing leaving your body and going out into the ethers like smoke from a flame, what are you signaling to the universe every moment? Because it is the chronic signal that you give that equals your life experience. are chronically signaling fear, worry, doubt, blame, shame, all those negative emotions, and that's what your experience will be. But if you chronically signal excitement, anticipation, positivity, love, gratitude, hope, all of those positive emotions, then that is going to be your dominant life experience, and it can change very quickly. I don't know if you've noticed that, where sometimes you've been going along really well and then all of a sudden you'll just go down, and that is because your thoughts took a turn. Your thought life will always take a turn before something happens like that, and it is up to you to be able to stay steady in a storm. Like, even when shit's going on around you, if you can manage to keep your thought life positive and forward focused in a way that makes your emotions feel good or hopeful, or whatever the best feeling that you can reach for from where you are right now, that is how you get from a bad situation into a better situation, by looking forward, by not observing too much detail what's going on right now and right here. Because the more that you make lists of how bad it is, or talk to other people especially about how bad something is or what's going wrong in your life, the bigger you are making it, the more airtime or broadcast time that you are giving that to the universe. And it is literally basically like, kind of like how when people go to lose weight, they say that you have to be in a calorie deficit, and they calculate the calories for the whole week rather than just day to day and moment by moment. It's basically on a whole. Like, if you can track sort of how your thoughts have been going over the course of a week, if it's majority good, awesome. And if it's majority bad, well, that's going to reflect in your life experience. And it's just like that. The more positive thoughts that you can have, the better. It doesn't mean that you can't have a negative thought every now and then. And in fact, sometimes having a negative experience can actually create a desire within us that it tells us that we want something that we didn't know that we wanted. And so a lot of the times, that if something negative is happening to you, or something that goes wrong, like you lose a job or whatever, or something ends, you need to tell yourself, oh, that just means that there's a new beginning coming, there's a new idea, there's a new desire, there's a new job, there's a new car, there's a new boyfriend, new partner. Anytime that something seemingly negative happens, you can use that as a positive thing, as like a positive expectation, being like, oh, I wonder how the universe is going to help me with this. Or I wonder how the universe is going to turn this into something even better. And you have the ability to point the universe in that direction. Whereas if something negative happens to you and you start saying things like, oh, it always happens like this. Of course, as soon as everything starts to go right, this happens. And if you start telling that story, then that will be what the effect is that you get out of it. We have so much more control over our experience than we are giving ourselves credit, and it is literally down to your mood, your attitude, your belief systems that shape your entire reality. Try this for a week or two or three, and you will see your life transform completely.